I decided to meet here today to show you the sort of the antithesis of Canary Wharf, sort of the opposite. The people here sort of see Canary Wharf as the devil. They sort of see it as the heart of capitalism. The sort of it is like one of the major financial districts in the world, and I couldn't really escape that when thinking about it. When thinking about in-groups and out-groups, I sort of automatically thought about in-groups and out-groups in terms of economic wealth. I thought this would be a good place to start, really, sort of see the argument against it. My work is not usually political. It's usually, I usually dance around the outside of politics, if I even engage with it at all. But I felt some sort of duty to when I was doing a piece in Canary Wharf, about Canary Wharf. I think I don't really want my work to be a protest. I'm not an activist, really. But I would like protest and activism to inform my work. And I think this is a good place to get inspiration for it, really. Canary Wharf is a sort of economic island, and that's something I want to go into. In-board and outboard for me means in-groups and out-groups. And I sort of like this apocalyptic sort of Titanic feel. It's involved with water, and I like the space of the Canary Wharf being surrounded by water, so I want it to be I want the feeling that everyone's drowning, almost. Well, I don't want to say too much, but these are some things I'm playing around with. We could take a walk around. I'd quite like to speak to some people and see what they feel about Canary Wharf. Hi there. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt or anything, but we're doing a project about Canary Wharf in Canary Wharf. It's an art project.
Okay.
And I was just wondering what your feelings on Canary Wharf.
Revulsion. Talk to this man, please.
Hiya, how are you?
Not too bad, thanks.
So I didn't mean to surprise this on you or anything, but we're doing an art project in Canary Wharf about Canary Wharf.
Okay.
And I sort of want this to influence my art, and I'm sort of trying to see Canary Wharf as a sort of economic island, as well as the City of London being an economic island. But the financial centre are using the City of London, for example, as a sort of offshore account within the city. Can you tell me a bit more about that and what your feelings on Canary Wharf are?
I don't know that much about Canary Wharf itself. I mean, I know more about the City of London. And the fact that it's one of 3 sovereign states in the whole of the world. The Vatican, City of London, Washington DC. All 3 are sovereign states, all 3 are tax exempt, all 3 have their own laws, all 3 have their own police force, and all 3 are exempt from the national laws of that country. So they exist, like the City of London exists inside England, but England has no jurisdiction over the City of London. And it's the same with the Vatican and Washington. The Vatican provides the spiritual power, the City of London provides the financial power, and America provides the military. So all 3 work together.
Okay. When you think of Canary Wharf, what do you feel?
I feel it's very Egyptian. You gotta like that gold pyramid on the top of it. And again, if you look at these 3 sovereign states, all 3 have a semicircle to represent the dome. All 3 have an obelisk outside, and all 3 have a pentagram. It's known as the seal of the hieroglyph of Sirius. You've got Egyptian magic going on right in front of your eyes.
I didn't know that.
When the Queen sits on the coronation throne, that's an exact replica of the throne of King Solomon.
Okay.
When Wills and Kate got married last year, he was in red, she was in white. The red and white crown of Egypt. You've got Egyptian magic going on, and things are not what they seem.
I'm sort of looking towards more finance as sort of a basis for my artwork, and I suppose Canary Wharf has the the aesthetic of finance. It has that sort of the Wall Street look.
Yeah.
The sort of, and that's the one they're going for.
Yeah.
But I quite like the idea that it looks like an evil empire, like a headquarters of evil, really.
Yeah, I mean, even the police force there are impersonating police officers.
Yeah, yeah.
If you look at all the security, they've got a blue and white check, and the police force is black and white. So, and these people, the security down there, are asking people when they stop them for the details, and it's like, you don't have the authority. You're just security officers. Stop impersonating a policeman.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
But the people don't see the deception.
I saw on the LSX website that there might be a tour around Canary Wharf. Do you know anything about that? I think it might be next week sometime.
I've not been on the internet for quite a while now, so I don't know about that side of it.
Alright, well, fair dues. Thank you very much anyway.
No problem.
Yeah, I think people are here for the right reasons, among many. But for me, I want to focus on the financial side of it, really. The sort of, I think essentially everyone believes in equality, and what we're seeing is a failure of that sort of equality. Although people are here for loads of reasons, acknowledging that there's loads of problems, I think fundamentally it's about being fair to people, in my eyes anyway.
So fucking, yeah, like I was just like, actually no, I can't. I think the main thing was...
Hello.
Yeah, sorry. We're doing a project on Canary Wharf. We're doing an exhibition in Canary Wharf about Canary
Are you
Wharf.
actually filming me right now?
Yeah, so
would it be nice just to ask?
I'm sorry, I was going to ask you, but we can...
I'd rather not just for now, if that's alright.
Yeah, so that's fine. Would you like to ask us a question?
Canary Wharf?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not really my forte, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I've heard it before. LSX is more the forte here. But I heard that there was...
What do you mean?
The London Stock Exchange, people are talking about that. I just want to focus on Canary Wharf a bit. I'm sorry to spring this on you, I didn't mean to. But I heard there's a sort of a tour around Canary Wharf next week. I saw it on the LSX website.
Yeah, occupying the tour.
Yeah, I think it's on Thursday. Yeah. I was just wondering. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring us.
Who's arranged that as well?
No, actually, I'm not sure.
Maybe Naffy and stuff like that. Do you know Matthew?
I just wonder what your feelings on Canary Wharf was, really.
Well, it would make a great home for the homeless.
It would.
All that land, those beautiful landscape gardens, the wharfs, the waterways. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Well, thank you anyway. I'll be on that tour next week. So take care. I'm not surprised. They've had so much bad press in the media, unfairly really. There's a lot of media campaigns against them, and I can only think because it's upsetting the norm really. I think this is all based on ideals, and that's like all good protest movement. It starts with a bit of like shaking things up a little bit. I just spoke to a lady over there. I was asking her about Canary Wharf and this protest here, and that she felt that that God has a sovereign power over the earth, and this is His reflection of it, which is a lot broader, a lot higher agenda than I expected really. But there are a lot of faith groups here because they're sticking to the commandments of their religions, and they believe that the world is unfair and unjust, and this is part of the solution to the problem. And it's outside a cathedral as well. It's quite poignant as well. Hi, we're doing a project in Canary Wharf, about Canary Wharf, and I thought this place would be a good place to start as a sort of like starting point, so sort of a reactionary approach to it. I was just wondering what your feelings on Canary Wharf were as a whole.
I like the red blinking light at the top that you can see from miles away. I think that's quite cool.
Yeah.
But I've only been to Canary Wharf once when the cinema there.
Yeah.
Saw 2001: A Space Odyssey, and I stole a goldfish bowl from the cinema.
No.
Then it broke on the way home.
Oh.
But yeah, Canary Wharf, it's the place where all the money is now, as well as this place.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's bad.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I don't know, I quite like it. I think it's quite cool. I like the red light. That's quite cool, and it's quite good to look down the Thames and see Canary Wharf down here and the Docklands, and then look up. Don't really feel very strongly. My friend works in Canary Wharf. Works administration of cleaners. Gets the cleaners to go and do various things. So he's not a banker, but no, I don't know really. Canary Wharf. Why is it called Canary Wharf?
No idea.
Maybe you should find out. I think it's like the Isle of Dogs. It used to have canaries on it or something. The Canary Islands used to have dogs on them. Isle of Dogs, Docklands, Canary. Why is it called Canary Wharf?
Well, it's a very big building with a pyramid with a light on the top, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's a very interesting building in the banking central area. I don't know too much about it. I have been in there once, and it seems like just some Masonic building for elites, but what would I know?
An evil headquarters.
Yeah, as such, it's the pinnacle of London.
Yeah.
But I couldn't say I know too much about Canary Wharf. I know it's on the new Call of Duty game, which is quite interesting because all the Call of Duty Modern Warfare games have been done in war zones, and the very first level of the new Call of Duty is Wall Street.
Yeah. What do you feel about Canary Wharf as sort of representing sort of the heart of finance or the heart of capitalism? Do you feel that?
Yeah, I think that's about as much as I do know. It is the pinnacle point, the highest point of the banking square mile.
Yeah. And would you I suppose what do you feel about the actual place? Do you see the buildings as being beautiful, or would you think that they represent something evil and therefore ugly or bad?
Well, I think most buildings are not beautiful, really. Even Christopher Wren's masterpiece behind us, it's a masterpiece, but in my eyes, for a home or something like that, we should be getting closer to nature.
Yeah.
We've been taken away from nature so much that we cannot connect with humanity anymore. Eye contact's gone, smiling's gone. Every sort of contact that humanity's got is gone through this concrete construct.
Yeah. I suppose it would be the systems that made that happen, and capitalism could be one of them. Sort of.
Yeah, and that's a big building which marks all that.
Yeah. Would you see capitalism as an organic force?
Organic, no. I think it's manufactured and orchestrated for the gains of just a few families.
Or money for money's sake, maybe.
Well,
it looks after money.
Yeah, and that's the only thing it is there for. It's and the people that have created the system, none of them use money. They just control it. They create it, and then everybody else has to use it, or they feel they can't live.
Perhaps a slave to money.
Yeah, and that's the way I see it. It's a prison without bars, and the bars or the chains are made of paper, and the paper being money, your birth certificate, and the statutory instrument are the rules. So we're enslaved by that, and it's quite easy to break away from. If you can learn to live without the monetary system, then you're free from the control that the money has. If you can teach yourself that you are not a name because you was born and registered with a name, but you are much more than just a name, so step away from that because I'm not a name. And then the rules of the game, which are the statutory instruments, we are policed by consent. And if I do not consent to a statute or an act, then they cannot have the force of law upon me.
So would you, if the financial district or the financial institutions and what they represent could be some sort of island, are you quite happy to be not involved with it at all and that you can live a happy life without it at all, a happy life without money or commerce?
I already do.
All right.
I gave up money about a year and a half, nearly 2 years ago, and I've never been happier. I started off by living in eco-villages and other communities, started doing land claims myself, testing out the law and jurisdictions of this land as we're supposed to be in a common law jurisdiction. But giving up money was such a relief. because you think, well, I wouldn't be able to live without money, but how many people have tried it? So when I did actually give up using money, it was so easy. It really is. There's many different things out there, and then when you give up money, you don't have to worry your whole time 9 to 5 to go and earn them pieces of money and then back to work on the Monday and same old. It's that system of control that keeps you imprisoned to that system. So I was able to start learning skills of foraging, learning what I could use medicinally, and then sharing these skills, because I believe knowledge has got value, so share the knowledge and become rich in friends.
Oh, that's beautiful, actually. If you could totally get rid of capitalism and the state, would you?
Well, I do see their system of control, their system of slavery, and I don't think by myself I could actually bring that down. No. So I'd just rather be free from it. And
you feel powerless to it, maybe?
No, not powerless, because I do teach people what I know, and every opportunity. So the thing is, the more people that do learn this, then communities will form outside of their system of control. Okay. But with something like this protest that's going on, they're trying to be free from that system of control, but what they're doing is setting up another system which is replicating that old system, but they're actually enforcing more rules and more control. And they want to bring in like Robin Hood tax and the Bitcoin and things like that, and none of these, when you look into them, are actually going to be for the benefit of humankind.
Or changing the fundamentals of the problem, maybe.
Yeah, it's like, if you want to be free from that system of control, do not replicate it. Start again, just be free from their system of control.
Burn the maps and start again. No more islands.
Yeah, it's like, the way I see the world is just one big lump of mud with a puddle on it. So there are no borders, there are no boundaries. These have all been set up for divide and rule. And when they can divide and rule, then it's easier to control groups, rather than like one big group going, we've had enough of you controlling us now. You are seriously the little man behind the curtain controlling the whole of us. So it cannot go on and on and on, because fractional reserve banking has now reached its peak. The collapse is imminent, and when it does happen, I just hope people do learn to live outside of that system before it's too late.
How about seeing the collapse of the banking system as the apocalypse?
Yeah, certainly. And I think if they can't actually bring in their one world currency and their one world government and their one world religion, then maybe they will collapse the whole of the monetary system, and then they'll have that divide and rule, because how will people know how to live without this world of commerce? Do people know what they can forage? Do people know where their nearest well is? Do people know how to live with each other anymore? This is quite simple. This is why the past couple of years I've stepped out of that system and tried to learn how to be free from all of that.
Okay. I quite like the idea of you're talking about people working, living together in local communities, like physical communities, whereas now, especially in the city, we seem to have more transient communities. Sort of people migrate in towards the city and go back out again, and perhaps the communities are more they're online communities, or they have no place, they have no location. I suppose I was wondering, is it possible to go back to the physical world of location, where because now we have like a global economic system, it's very hard to sort of grasp or even to track these sorts of things. I was wondering, is it possible to go back to this sort of society where you live literally in a locality?
I believe it is, but whether that system will let you prevail in that is another matter, because if you try to start a community up on a piece of land, the alleged authorities will come down, serve you with a notice, try and get you in court, try and split your community up, or try and get you to fill out permits and enter their system again. And there's been communities that have been running for years, like Tinker's Bubble is one, and it's still going now, but they've got lots of legal battles because they've entered into their system. Same as Lamas and TP Valley, they've all like had to enter their system, and then they've got legal battles constantly. And same as the recent one with Dale Farm, that's a whole generation wiped out basically by their system enforcing their rules upon them. Now they were going for 40 years, and 10 years ago they started filling out legal permits. That's when they started having legal battles. they were free to be there otherwise. So they got lied to by their own naivety of not knowing how deep that system of control is. That system can quite simply offer them something like travellers' rights, and then once they've signed up for travellers' rights, they have to get a birth certificate. Therefore, they're registered into their system. You're part of their product. You're there for them.
So could you see these sorts of projects, these communes, or I don't know if they're communes, but these sort of project spaces, do you see them as islands in their own rights? Islands that attempt to be outside the law.
Micronations, yeah. Like little micronations, that's right. Like, why would I need to speak to Cameron or something like that if I've had an argument with somebody in my community?
Yeah, exactly.
It's quite pointless. All you have to do is sit down there with the community and say, okay, we have these issues, so we talk about them. And then it's dealt with within your own community. Why would you need some kind of outside group or like a security team or, you know what I mean? We've got a police force and they do a great job. Now, if anything was done like harm, loss or injury, fraud, then the police could get involved. But at the moment, this place are trying to create another system with security and their own police, and it's like quite crazy. If you want to be free, just walk away. Yeah, lead by example. Yeah. But do not wish anyone to follow you. It's like I say, don't follow me. I don't know where I'm going, because we've all got our own path, and a lot of us want the same thing, but we have different views. Yeah. Like if I eat the same meal as you, I might see the meal to be different, but it's exactly the same meal. You might like it, I might not, but it's still exactly the same thing. So you discuss like things about it and find common ground.
Yeah, I believe that's true. I find it hard to blame individuals for global problems. You know, I mean, the people are just products of their environment a lot of the time.
Yeah, I do feel there's going to be big change within globally as well through this movement, through everybody's thought patterns as they are at the moment. Everyone knows that we're being controlled by this elitist government, but a lot of people don't know how to be free from that at the moment. When people find out the solutions, we'll truly be free.
Oh, about Canary Wharf.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's quite tall and triangular.
Well, what about what it represents?
I suppose it represents a financial node, as you said, to the world, and a centre of media, as well as finances. I suppose it's like a champion of finances for the United Kingdom, and a focal point for some parts of decision making.
What do you think about the decisions they make there?
Well, I suppose it's one of the least regulated areas of decision making,
and perhaps one of the most powerful.
And I'd say it's probably one of the more. I think it's far more powerful than the general people would think it is.
What do you think is like sort of an in-group and an out-group? So if we were the 99%, would you see them as the 1% perhaps?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, unless you're talking about the people who clean their offices. But yes, I'd say they're definitely one part of the 1% in the Canary Wharf.
And I suppose, how does it make you feel being part of the 90% and not having part of the power that the 1% has?
Well, I suppose there's an element of being disenfranchised, but I think it's good that there's been some movement towards understanding that there is a 1%, whereas previously there wasn't an idea that there was a 1%. Now at least we can get a bit of a fix on it and where the power might reside, and that way we can go some way to actually shifting that power, even so that we can create more of a 2 or 3 or 4%, so it enlarges that circle. So perhaps it can one day grow to being 100%.
Do you feel that they have too much power, really? Do you think they're...
Yeah, I mean, power does have to reside somewhere, and so if somebody can get hold of it, they generally will. Yeah. So I'd say because 1% has the 99% of power, I think that's swinging too much in their direction.
Yeah.
And I think just as any other 1% having 99% of the power would be too much. whether it's in Canary Wharf or anywhere else, it would still be wrong. And so definitely it should be more like 2, then 3, then 4%, getting that 99% of power until eventually it becomes as equal as possible.
I suppose, what does it make you feel aesthetically? Do you reckon power is quite a formless thing, it's quite hard to look at and see? Do you think Canary Wharf as a district is a good representation of that?
As a district? Which district?
Well, Canary Wharf as an area.
Yeah.
You've got a visual aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
And do you reckon it reflects power? Because that's what I'm sort of looking
Oh,
for
it does.
symbols.
It definitely reflects power. I think the fact that it's apart from the rest of London. I understand that there might have been an economic reason for building it out there in the first place, but there's also an aesthetic sense that it's an island fortress unto itself, because nobody can actually get there unless they go out of their way to reach it. And the fact that it's got its fairly tall structures, and they're imposing and very straight lines and flat surfaces, it all suggests the fortress again. So
medieval headquarters, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think anyone actually feels like they're invited in through those revolving doors at any moment or up those sturdy steps. I don't think it's there to welcome you with both arms.
No, it's meant to welcome only in the 1%, maybe.
Yeah, well, I think
yeah,
and the people who have most of that power within the 1% are up the top and very hard to get to. I'm sure security would have something to say if you went through and wanted to be involved in that, or even get anywhere near the top floors.
Okay. So you say it feels like there's an in group and an out group here, like quite a stark one?
Oh well, I think definitely behind any closed door there's something going on, and because that separates itself and is its own entity and also has great wealth and great power, then they create their own in-group, which is harder for other people to get into. I mean, everyone has in-groups that it's harder for others to get into. I have an in-group of friends that others would find harder to get into than the friends already in it.
Yeah, naturally.
But in terms of power, wealth, and media, I think that there's a fairly solid in-group going on down there.
Okay, brilliant. Right, well, thank you very much. Anyway.
You're very welcome.
Right, take care, man.
Lovely to meet you.
Yeah.
Oh, all the best. Thank you.
Cheers.